Welcome to Holly's Dreadful Colors, doing a very random live today as I'm working from home. I haven't done a video in a while, so I wanted to just hop on here and go live. I will just continue to talk, even if you are just jumping on. This video will be posted as on my page for viewing in the future. Usually I think it takes like 24 hours before it allows me to post. So it's been a while. I've just been super busy with life. Apparently I'm a seasonal YouTube channel video supplier because there's just certain periods in the year that I just cannot even manage this. But here I am. Okay. Let's see. Today I'm working on a Beetlejuice set. Potentially some other, like maybe Halloween. I want to do a whole fall collection, but I think I might be focusing on Halloween right now because it's kind of popular, especially with the new movie coming out. So I'm working on some braids, and I thought that would be a fun one to post. I did offer a video that's disappeared now on my Facebook page, but I do not have like an official video of doing braids. So I'm going to show you how I do them. All right, let's see here. Let's see if I got this. Okay, so to start this, I'm going to need a glove. I cannot see my phone or if anyone's commented in this angle. I will occasionally just kind of look and see. Okay, someone is there. Okay, hi. Okay, so I have my usual spray bottle with soapy water. It is hot, but it's really more warm now. It comes out like lukewarm, but it's good to start with warm. It does seem to make a difference usually. It just makes me work less the next round that I do. So these are ones that I've kind of created already. So here, this one's a braid. This one's a 3-strand braid on both sides, double-ended. I do like to keep instead of doing all of them singles and then braid them together, I like to keep a part that lays flat on the head. So this is kind of how I create mine. So it's a 3-strand. This one is a 5-strand. So this will be a fishtail braid. It does require, you notice I do need a little bit more wool in order to be able to even separate to get to this. So this is a little bigger, but it is still double-ended and still fairly light. Not light when it's wet, but light in general. Let's see here. And then this is another one. What I like to do, this has a knot in it. How did that happen? Okay. Let's see here. That's a 3-strand. I think I did a 4-strand. Now this is another 5-strand. I think I have a 4-strand. Also can be used as a fishtail. So that's my 4-strand. And then what I like to do is I leave them. I don't do anything else to them right now. And then I think I'll do a twist. I actually just separated these, so I'll probably do like a twist. It'll go like this, except maybe a little tighter. But I'll probably dye them first. So that's where I'm at right now. But I have a lot more to go because I'm making 2 sets of this. Let me just check my phone real quick and say hello. Thanks for sharing. Oh, you are welcome. Thank you for joining. Oh, I got a bunch of people on here. Yay. Okay. So I'm just going to move forward. I'll show you kind of what I'm working on. All right, good. Okay, so this is half of what I was working on earlier. So I'm going to separate this into 4. This would create like pencil thin. So the set that I'm working on, I'm going to turn it into micro. So I'll be dividing my roving wool, which looks like this is a full piece. Okay, divide that into 6 pieces. Not this one in particular because this is the one for braids, but my braids will probably need to be pencil thin in order for me to separate and not have them fall apart on me while I'm doing this. So the other nice thing to think about is put the 2 ends together and lay them, because if you're going to create a middle area, you want to get it right even. Otherwise, your braid will be lopsided when you install. So here we go. I like to just twist nice and firm. The wool I'm working with today is called Falkland, Falkland. You can find it on Etsy. let's see here. So I've created my middle piece, okay? And this one, this is a half. Let's see how this parts. So I'm going to do maybe like this. Maybe I'll do a 3-strand. No, I need it to be smaller for a 3-strand. Okay, so I'm going to do a 5-strand. They just take longer. Well, maybe a 4-strand. Okay, we'll go with a 4-strand. Okay, so I just kind of pull it aside. You have to be really careful because this is very delicate wool here. Just start by rolling it. Make sure you guys can see. Yeah, you can see my hand. Okay. Again, in case anyone's commenting while I'm doing this, I cannot see my phone. So just bear with me. I will answer questions when I take a moment and move it back to my face so I can see it. Let's see. I always pull the ends to kind of get a little taper unless someone requests not to, but I don't think I've ever had anyone request blunt ends before. So this set, I think I'm going to show you the whole length of this set. I'm not going to do it in one video because it's going to be a 2-part thing. But since I never completed, I had all these technical issues and stuff for my dyeing video, which I did make for you guys. It was part of that 4-part video that I never completed. I'm really sorry about that. It just didn't come together the way it needed to. The set itself came out very nice. So this one, I know I owe you a dyeing video, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to do it for this Beetlejuice set. And then last one on this side. These are a little time consuming. I mean, I suppose if you separated them into all one section and didn't connect it, might go faster. I don't know. It's going to be about the same. You're still going to have tiny little pieces. And as you can see, this is super light, so I don't want to pull on it too much. I just find that it's easier to do it this way, and it lays nicer on people's scalp, less bumpy, bulky. Let me do this other side, and then I'll check on comments. There we go. Throw that one to the side here. All right, now this one, so what did we do? We did 4. I suppose I don't have to do the same on every side, but I feel like that part could stay the same. Ooh, that one went tiny. Okay, that's all right. It's okay if they're not exact. The main thing you want to focus on is making sure that it doesn't pull apart. You just want to be really delicate with this part. Once it's felted, it's no longer as delicate. It's not going to come off the same way. It's just while it's still roving that it can pull apart so easily. You also, for this kind of braid, for when I do braids, I do want to use a wool that separates easily, not too sheady, and is going to kind of stay together. It's a little bit stronger with its fibers. Like I did have some extra mohair roving, and I thought, oh, I'll use that. It's extra long. It's perfect for braids. And that one was falling apart on me. Like, couldn't even make the parts. I'm like, okay, that's not the one for braiding. So if it's super soft and sheady, it's probably not going to be strong enough. I mean, you can certainly give it a shot, and it's not impossible. It just might make you frustrated as you're doing it because you'll have to throw pieces away that kind of come apart. Falkland, Icelandic is good for braids. I like those two for braids. Okay, so just completed this. Let me see here. So these are this one's a 4-strand, and this is how it looks. And then if you want, you can kind of go over this part that gets it's kind of like floofy here because it's kind of like not fully felted there. It will get felted, but you can just kind of go like this and blend it, and then it's less poofy, puffy, whatever. Floofy is what I said originally. Okay, so let me see what if anyone's commented here. Let's see. What do I cook? I'm not cooking. I'm making wool. Wool braids so that you can put them in your hair. I'll show you a picture of, this was another Beetlejuice set that I made last year. So I don't know if I'll do exactly the same look, but, and this was one of the braids that I'm creating, except that this was one of my first time really trying the fishtail braid with wool, and it's very thick. I think it's really cool. But this is the rest of this was another part of this was another Beetlejuice set. Sorry, I'm live, so if I fumble with my words, it is what it is, man. So this was one of them. And although I could see that when it's tiny like that, it could look like noodles. Sometimes when I ball them all up in my other videos, if you watch them, and I put them in the bowl, they look like ramen noodles. Thank you. You're talking about the Beetlejuice? Yeah, it's still for sale. It's just a partial set. I think it's just 29. I think it's just shy of like 30 pieces. I might just add to it, but it's always hard to, when you start one set, it's always hard to like repeat specifically the same colors. You can always get them close, but they're not exactly the same. So I don't know quite how I want to add to that. But on this set that I'm working on, these two sets, I'm going to do a little bit of the luxe ends, kind of like this one, probably a different kind of wool and probably a little bit longer. But I really do like the effect of these, and they're cool. They make me think of Beetlejuice's hair. So I may do it again. We'll see how long I do the luxe ends on these ones. Oh, I just answered your question. Yes, I am, but not on all of them, just on a few of them. So I think I'm going to do 12 with luxe ends. And then I'm making two of them, two sets, one a little bit longer, one a little bit shorter, so that might as well, if two people like the same thing or want something longer or shorter, it's perfect. So I'll be posting this on my Facebook page. If you don't follow me on my Facebook page, please do. It's Holly's. No, it is not Holly's. Drop the Holly. That's only on my YouTube channel. It's just Dreadful Colors. Hi, Occult Life. Thanks for just hopping in. Okay, so I'm going to keep going with the next batch, the next braid, and you guys can take a look at what I'm doing. Once I kind of get these done, I'll show you. I mean, the problem is a lot of times when I do these, I like to dye them because I like them to have different colors depending on what I'm doing. So I'm probably not going to, maybe I'll braid it and show you how I do it and then I can undo it. That's fine. Here, let's do that. Okay. So everyone that's already been following along, let's see, what's the best way for me I gotta clamp this down. Oh, I wonder if I can clamp it to I wonder if that's going to be strong enough. All right, can you see that? Okay, I'm back. Don't go anywhere. What happened to my dreads? You know what? I actually just have natural ones now. Can't see them. They're kind of crazy. Actually, they're looking a lot better. I've had them for about a year. And I do still have a little bit of my orange extensions, but I'm taking them out and I'll be putting in a different kind of extension. So I'm just not wearing the braid ends anymore. Had a baby last year and I just realized that it was just too much to try to take them in, take them out, take them in, take them out. So I actually have no regrets. I absolutely love them. But yeah, I don't wear the wool ones. I will attach wool locks to them though. And I will definitely show it in the next video when I have them done. Okay, let me show you how I would braid this. Okay, so this is a 4-strand, and those ones are kind of funky when you do, let's see, crossover. I have to remember how to do this. All right, I'm crossing over. It's a little easier to do that with 5 strands, which is why I do the 5 strands, but this one only fit 4. Okay, here we go. I'm getting the hang of it here. Oh, no. And this one. And this one. Okay. Let's see here. Can you guys see where I'm working? Okay. So, again, you have to kind of know how to do the fishtail braid. I guess I should venture out and do some other braids too. I just don't really know them very well. So you can see it's a pretty small braid. Can barely see it so far. And, you know, these are wet. So when they are wet, first of all, it's better to do this when it's wet. It will hold better and it's tighter and it's less likely to pull apart. Again, these are really small pieces of wool, and so we want to be gentle and not pull them apart. You do have to be careful to pull your hand all the way through so that you don't tangle these, because that's a pain. And see how it's coming out here. And then when I get all the way to the bottom, I've done different techniques, but let's say you're at the bottom. And usually I don't even go all the way to the bottom. I do like to leave a little bit extra. So maybe I'd go down to here and leave stuff hanging, but you would take them and pull them through and create like just a nice tight knot at the bottom. And then you would have like a little extra hanging, and that would be your braid. I'm not going to do it super tight because I don't want it to. You could do 2 of them if you want, but I've never had them come undone. So I don't think you need to do 2 knots. Once they're kind of felted, and you're going to do a little bit more after this anyway. So here we go. Oh, I dented the middle. No, it's all good. Okay. Okay, here's my other one. Oh, see, this one's going to be I can just tell by the feel of it that it's going to be a 5-point braid here. So again, I'm just kind of putting the ends together, laying it down. It's right here. I want to stay as much in the middle as possible so that they're as even as possible. Again, I'm doing this part for anyone tuning in. I'm connecting it this way because I think it sits better than a braid on the scalp. So I just do this a little bit and then kind of push it to one side away from me. And then I will start separating. Let's see here. So this is definitely enough wool for a 5-strand braid. Sometimes it already separates for me. It's super nice. It's almost easier to separate it where it wants to separate, as you can imagine. It's the same with all roving, not just in sections like this. I feel like I almost could have gotten 6 out of that if I really wanted to. I don't know why this section's so big, but that's okay. Hopefully this wasn't a 2-section braid that I was supposed to split. No, I already split it. Okay. Doing a video, so now I forget where I'm up to. No, this was 2 sections. Okay. Sometimes your felting pad gets so wet that you don't need to spray. I'm kind of at that point right now. And just spray a little bit, but not a lot. It's kind of nice when it gets to that point, because then you're not, spending so much time stopping and spraying. Again, for anyone tuning in, this is my spray bottle of just, it was as hot as I could get it, water from the tap, which does get pretty hot, and then soapy water. It will be cold, but I'll use the whole thing before it gets too cold. Going back to finding my sections. Again, you want to be delicate with this when it's in this form. They're very thin. Okay. Before I started my video, I was watching the new Lord of the Rings series. I just started the first episode. It's not bad. Kind of like those kind of shows, like the timepiece ones. So I do like to watch my shows when I'm doing all this. It's a good time to get in a show or a movie that you've been wanting to watch. All the kids are at school or daycare. The baby's at daycare. So I'm finally getting some time in the day to focus on wool more. So thrilled about this. Okay. There's another one. Let's see how we're doing here. Oh, that's awesome that you made a whole set. I wish I could see them. You know what? Send it to me. Follow me on Facebook. Send me a picture of your the sets that you've made. You know, it's always fun to hear from people that follow my pages. I do get a lot of messages from different people, and give them some tidbits and a little advice. outside of just these videos, if they just have a very specific question, I'm pretty responsive, and it's really cool to see the sets that people have made based off just, you know, my videos. It's fun. That's why I did it. Let's see. I have not tried adding loose ends to the rest of my braids. 2 sets. That's awesome. Hey, Living Dread Girl. I haven't even thought about that with the braids, because that would be, let's say, just to start with, it'd be a 3-strand braid. So each end would have to have a luxe end. That sounds like a lot of work. I don't know if I'd want to do a luxe end at the end of a braid, unless I left the ends. So I'm just brainstorming here. Unless I left the ends unfelted and I felted them together as one, but then I would still have to add the luxe end. I don't know. That sounds like a lot of work. Don't give me more ideas. I don't need any more. What's this? Magdalena. Yeah, definitely. Find me on Facebook. Show me what you made. I'm excited to see. I could do that. I have done that in the past. I actually have, I did used to, with when I've made braids in the past, I did just combine all the ends together. Why don't I do that now? I don't know. I guess because of the way I tie it off now. You know what? I'll do one. Let's take a look. Let me put this one aside for a moment. Let's just test this out right now. All right. Here. Trying something, well, not new, but old new. Knew that was old. Okay, so I'm going to section this out. I'm going to still go with, I'm going to section it in 2s. And then I want to section it one more time. And I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to make my middle still. Find my ends. Right here. Okay, let's see here. So I'll just do the 3-strand braid because that's easier at the moment. Okay. So what we're thinking is if I leave the ends unfelted at the bottom here, just doing a quick run here. Okay. The only thing is they will be very sensitive at the bottom as I'm braiding, but let's just give this a shot here. It's worth playing with. We're live, might as well. The rest of this is boring, so. Okay, now I'm just gonna, instead of doing the other side, I'm just gonna jump right in. Okay, so I'm just gonna do, let's see if you guys can see what I'm up to. Here we go. Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna do a braid. You will have to be really careful because these are gonna tangle, and this is the most fragile part, right? We just talked about this, so I have to be super careful not to tangle these ends. We're doing it. It's not the tightest braid, but that's okay. And if this is not what you meant when you were talking about the ends, then I'll just tell me and then I'll try something different on the other side. I mean, this is the Beetlejuice set. I could do whatever I want with it. Okay. Just going to throw this out here again. Follow me on Facebook, Dreadful Color. Find me under there as my business, and you can send me messages. You can check out some of my work. You can ask me any questions that you might have separate from. Okay, so now with this kind, let me move this back here. So with the 3-strand braid, this is what I like to do. I did not go all the way to the, I tried not to go all the way. Yeah, okay, we did good. Okay, let's see here. So I'm going to tighten that in one spot, okay? And then I'm going to take the other strand and pull that through around the center strand. And then pull that one. And that actually doesn't even show too bad. And that should keep that nice and tight. Now, what we're saying is, now, instead of doing separate ones, I can felt this whole thing together. I actually left way too much length at the end of this. All right, next side we can do different. The only thing is, because I've separated them to be in a 3-strand, there it is showing kind of like a little gap, but I think once it's fully felted, it wouldn't come undone. I could also needle felt it, you know, with the, I don't know where my needle filter is right now, but so, okay, this one's like longer. So this one's got the braid. Let's see here. So this is the length of it. So this is the part that connects to the hair. This would be the braid, and then you'd have this long end here. So it's doable, and it's less braiding, I suppose. So could be done. Okay, let's see. Creative Anarchy. I like that. That would be a cool business name for somebody. You know what? I actually forgot the name of your old business because I've already been marketing the other one. I forgot the original name. You can tell me later. Some people on here know me, have been following me, know where to find me. Let's see here. Okay, so was that what you were thinking as far as creating the end? I don't know if I would have done it as long. It seemed like it was short when I was doing it, but it got long. But you know what? I kind of like it. So here's the braid. So here's the top. Here's the braid. And then a little knot at the end, and then you'd have like this long end. Okay, don't change the end. I still, Creative Anarchy. For anyone else, that's a cool business name, depending on what you're trying to create. Let's see here. What do I do with the other one? All right, I'm going to work on this other one here. Let's see. Okay, we're good. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to part this one 3 ways again, too. I'm using my phone for this video, and I don't quite know. Oh, I do know where my tablet is, but it's not charged. But I wish I could play some music or something. Otherwise, I'm going to start doing weird tunes, and you're all going to hear that. Sorry, it's one of those silly days. It's hot here. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm starting to sweat. It's like a weird humidity. I'm here in California. We don't really have humidity usually. Nothing that you could really notice. Nothing like, you know, East Coast or the South or the North. Anywhere but here. Anywhere but a desert, which has humidity. We don't really get humidity, but for the last week, I'll tell you what, it has been humid here, and I don't even know what to do with myself. I mean, I grew up in the humidity, but I don't miss it, and I was taking something to get used to. Did I make this tight? Oh, because I was testing it out. So now, let me see if I can. All right, I'm not going to even worry about this one. I can add it. It'll just be like a cool one that's one color. So if you want to, like, you see how it's still kind of puffy right there. So you can either roll it all together or you can try to felt it as close as possible to that area. Got one more, I think. So yeah, there we go. That'll help it from being so fuzzy there. And then once you do all that, as close as you can get, then you go over it like this and then it'll, see, now it's not even bulky. So compare it. This is the one side, this is the other. I could do this one. As you can see, I have enough like water and soap on here that I don't even need to spray right now. But here you go. So those are the ends. This one, I guess I could do this one. Maybe I'll just do them two sides. So this will be one color and this will be another. Ooh. Okay, I'll do this one though. I'll make this one just like the other one I just did. Oh, whoops. Oh, no, I'm good. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, no, I rolled it the whole way, so now I can't felt it together. Oh, well. Wasn't even paying attention. See, when you just get into the mode of things, here I am blabbing around and forgot what I was doing. It is way faster to do it this way, though, without worrying about the ends coming apart. So I will say that. I have two of these. Okay, so just a few more of these, and then I can work on the real ones. Not that these aren't real, but the non-braided ones. Almost done. Oh, I better leave some. Okay, better leave some length since it'll match the other side. Okay, so again, hold on. I'm just going to show you how I do this. So I just went like, usually I pick the thickest strand. This time I didn't, and I pull through. I already did this side, so I'm not going to show you again. So I do one side, and then this is still the side. So I kind of hold this taut. This is my middle piece. I'm going to wrap this one underneath, or however feels comfortable. I'll pull it through, and then I cinch it up. And then now it's not going to unravel because it's all braided. Let me cinch it up a little bit more. Once you know you're done, you can just tighten it. So again, I wouldn't do this part until after if I want to do multiple colors, I wouldn't do this, the whole braid until after I'm done dyeing them. But these ones, I'll just do like one color, another color, or I can color this whole thing and then leave the ends with a different color. So we'll see. Maybe I do leave some of it white because there's Beetlejuice. We could do some white with Beetlejuice. All right. All right, let's start with the next one. I'll just get this started, then I'll check my comments here and see who's here now. Answer some questions. Perfect. Okay. I still think adding loose ends to a braid would be a lot. I don't know if it would be worth the effort to do it. I mean, I could, but I'd have to, what do we got going on? I remember that. Oh, that's funny. Oh my God, see, look, I'm getting all sweaty doing this right now. Thanks. If anyone new, thanks for tuning in. The whole video will be posted in about 24 hours for anyone to view going forward. Just doing a live today, just trying to get back into making the videos because it's easy to get off and not make time for them. I've had issues with my phone. I run out of memory on my tablet, and then I have to delete photos that I want on my tablet, but I can't have it. There are so many good business ideas. Although I've had this name for a while, and I really haven't, aside from dropping the holly from some of the main areas, this business name has worked well for me. Every time I try to think of something different, it just doesn't quite come as good as this one. I'm getting too close to the screen. Hold on, I'm working. Let's see here. I'll go back to working here. Working real time here, trying to get this stuff done. I'd like to have this ready this weekend. We have 2 more days of kids in daycare, so I have to get them done. That one was already parting for me. Good thing I'm doing 3-strand because that wouldn't have worked for a different one. I will be making a set, a small set, like an accent set of wool with human luxe ends. I'm excited to do that one. Maybe I'll get that on video as I'm working on it. Post it here for people to see. I know I did a tester video where I tested out different locks, but it doesn't hurt to just add a little extra to it sometimes. Maybe something that I missed or some new technique that I have. I have been working on my Luxon technique to kind of perfect it in a way that works best. I had some that I did it a little differently, or I used the wrong kind of locks and they came out. So I've had to kind of fix that up. So I will have to show you my new technique when I attach the human hair to the ends. Here's another one done. I'm going to have a lot of those. Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to find kind of where the part is right here. This is a good spot. Seems pretty even to me. That was a half, so this was another half. What do I want to do? That one was the one. That was a half of the other one, so that means this is a quarter. Seems so thick though. Okay, let's do it less. That feels better, but I think these might just be braids worth. A 3-strand braid. Oh, oops. I'm spraying it like I'm doing something else. Let's see here. So I don't want these to get too big. Like I said, the first times I was working on braids with wool, I was making them pretty thick just because I needed the wool. The wool it's delicate. You do have to be delicate, and you have to kind of play with it a little bit to figure out which wool works best. And so now that I know more of that, which is what I'm sharing with you, again, different types of, I'll just repeat myself sometimes for people that are tuning in. You want to use a wool that's not super sheddy, that's a little bit stronger and not going to fall apart as you're moving it around, because you will have small strands of wool. And if it's not a strand, if they come apart really easily, it's just going to be frustrating. It's not impossible, but you'd be frustrated, I promise, because I've been there. And actually, I could do a demonstration and show you why it's, hold on, with my mohair. Let me finish this one. I will show you what happens if you use one that is too soft and sheddy. Let's see here. And it doesn't have to be sheddy per se, but a lot of times those kinds of wool are super sheddy. All right. I even have to be careful taking this off the hanger. As you can see, it's already... Okay, so this is mohair. Whew. Okay, let's see here. It is so soft and it's so shiny and pretty. I will give you that. But I don't know if you can this is kind of the difference between these two wool. Not just, this one's a little off-white, this one's a bit more white, but these pieces are just, this is like super sheddy here, okay? Let me show you what happens if I try to turn this one into braids. Woof. Okay, so I'm gonna, woof, it's already getting stuck to me. Okay, I don't even want to do this. Oh, okay. Alrighty here. So this would be like one strand, which gets really thin at the bottom because of the way that it pulls. So there's one strand. Here's two strands. Oh, this one already broke. So this is the end that should be attached to this part. I don't know if you can see. Hopefully you can. Yes. Okay. So this is the part that's supposed to be here. This is the only one that fully stayed intact, but it doesn't take much to have it fall apart. So this is why this particular wool is, you can totally make woolies with, because you would keep it all together and not be separating into tiny pieces. But the smaller the pieces, the harder it is to kind of work with it. It is a more expensive wool too, but it's hard to work with in this case. Let's see here, what's happening here. It is easy to come up with new names for other people and not so much for yourself, because, you know, then you're like, I mean, you can come up with all these ideas and then it's like, oh God, I got mohair all over me now. Okay, so not my favorite wool to work with just because of how much it falls apart, but some people love it. And mohair makes some really cool textures. So I'm not knocking mohair. Again, I can use that to make like woolies. If I make like pencil thin ones, that should stay together just fine and won't fall apart on me. But it is very sheddy working with it, and but it is cool to make that kind of texture. I'm trying to think if I have any of those right now. I don't think I have any of those here right now, the texture of that. Let's see here. I also have been working on grays or natural colors. I'm actually looking to get a supplier that has a whole bunch of natural colors, not just brown and gray. I'm hoping, I'm waiting to hear back. I want pictures. So, but I do like to do like the grays and brown mixes. You buy them already like that because it's a natural color that you can find with sheep or alpaca or llama. That's not just white. The cool thing about it is, I'll just send those out as a custom. But the cool thing is when you get a gray, you can still dye it because it's when it's natural, it has lots of colors in it. There's whites in there, even if it's mostly grays. You can dye, you can make like a darker color than you would normally make. Yay, I just want to see pictures of the alpaca samples. I want to know, there is apparently alpaca that is ginger colored hair, and that would be fantastic to get a natural ginger wool. Among some other colors that sounded really cool, but there's no pictures, so I can't tell you what they look like yet or really how cool it is. Maybe it's all in my head. But I'm excited to try it and see the pictures. But yeah, so sometimes dyeing on top of gray, you can do a color and it'll come out darker and create a different kind of color. So anyone that's kind of got seasoned color hair that has a mix of browns and grays, you can get natural wool. And instead of trying to dye, instead of getting a white wool or off-white, an undyed one that's really light and trying to match your hair color, you can find wool that has a similar hair color to yours, and then you can still dye the bottoms and or all of it if you want, or just you can ombre it into a color so that it blends into your hair, but also gives you color, which is fun. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna just keep doing more braids. I gotta stay focused. This is an important thing to get today, and I will just keep talking as I go. Okay, for anyone that's just tuning in, I am making a Beetlejuice set, and right now I'm actually making 2 Beetlejuice sets, and right now I'm just working on the braids, and there seems to be a lot of them. Why did I make so many? I don't know. I wanted to torture myself today. Here we go. 1 strand. 2 strands. Now, with the braids, I don't really worry about texturizing them so much. I don't even worry too much about doing a second roll of any kind, unless maybe just for the ends so that they are more felted if they're loose. So like, let's say I leave the ends like this. They seem like they're felted right now, but they're really not because it was just a rough felt. And so I will either, if I'm doing if I want to keep them straight, I would dip them in hot water with whatever set this goes with, and I would re-roll this part because they're not fully felted and they will kind of start to come apart. So you want to felt that fully. Or if I'm doing curly and I want it to match the curl, like a wavy set, I dip it in hot water and then do the same thing I do with the ends. And then that would create textured ends. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these yet, so I'm not going to let them stay anywhere. But that would be the way to have them match whatever you're working on. Let's see here. I think, this one's done. I'm just going to roll that. Roll that. These are just those bulky ends where I separated. You can always spray if you need to, but I didn't need to in this case. Like I said, my mat's pretty wet right now. Okay. And then look, this is so pretty. Now, when you go to make locks or wool or braids to go with your wool set, you want to make these longer than the rest of your set. And the reason why is once you braid them, it has them kind of tighten up, and then they're not as long. So I always go a couple inches longer, and then they usually match up pretty well at the end. And if they're too much longer, like I said, you can texturize the ends. You could texturize the whole braid, but it's a braid, so you don't really want to take away from what's already going on. You don't want to make it like too much. But you could also texturize the braid a little bit if you wanted to. And when you texturize, that kind of compacts the wool into different places, and then you can, it shortens it, okay? So when you texturize, that shortens the length of the wool. And if you've already made some off my videos, then you already know that. So you want to start a little bit longer. What? How's that connected? There we go. Always pull my ends a little bit. I don't like to have the blunt ends. After I finish this one, I'll stop and look and check the comments. Now, I don't know if the person who left me a comment about how I'm doing and she's checking in on me. I don't know if you're on this right now, or I assume you'll probably see this at some point. I know you said you didn't have Facebook to kind of check in with me. I was totally tickled that day when you sent me that comment. Thanks for checking in on me. I will be making more videos. All around wool. What's the best wool? Okay, gotcha. You went needle. Okay, so for a good first timer, it depends if you're trying to make texture or keep them straight. Okay, so Cordale can be a good wool to start with. It's already usually colored. You can find it uncolored, but you can usually find it colored. I recommend that over like merino wool. That you can crimp up the way that I've shown you my videos, and it will get kind of bumpy, knobby, which is kind of a cool look. I actually think that the bumpy, knobby woolies look a little bit more realistic to regular dreadlocks. I mean, you can get dreadlocks that like are, kind of everywhere here. You get the little pieces kind of like, some of the kinkier wool, but mostly this is like bumpy and knobby. So everyone's is different. Mine are, I crochet them, but they're also a little bit freeform because I like all the loops and swoops and stuff. Some people don't do that. So knobby bumpy, I feel like can look very realistic, especially if you add some luxe ends to it. I think that looks very realistic as far as wool go, because people are always trying to find woolies that look more realistic to hair dreadlocks, and that would be my take, is kind of that knobby bumpy look. So first timer for that, as far as trying to play with getting some texture, and Cordale can be rolled straight. So that is a good one to start with, especially if you don't want to dye them. That would be my first recommendation. I know that the two wool that I mentioned today, Falkland and Icelandic, those also can be made with texture or rolled straight, which is why those are nice to have. Icelandic is a little bit easier to roll. Falkland, you're gonna have to felt a good bit if you want, unless you do micro woolies. Those ones, if the smaller you go with Falkland, the easier it is to felt it. But it does take it takes 2 or 3 rolls, probably 3 for someone that is, more of an amateur, to fully felt it. I don't know why it takes like that, but it is, if you're keeping it straight. If you're texturizing, it still requires a lot of kind of rolling and messing with and that kind of stuff to get it kind of where you want it to be and fully felted. So Falkland's a good smooth one that you can dye, but not as easy to felt as like Cordale. And then let's see, what's the other one I was going to mention? So Wensleydale wool roving is already, once you can roll it, and when it dries, it's already going to have a texture. So that one's kind of just fun. It does felt pretty easily. It is a little, because of the way the fibers are, it could be a little sheddy as you're working with it. You just want to be gentle. But it will already get a waviness to it as it dries when you roll it. So no matter how straight you roll that, it's going to have texture, which makes it so much easier for someone new to work on that. Let's see, how do you dye them? I just get the color, but I want to try dyeing. So dyeing is just like you're upping your abilities to work with the wool. You want to work with acid dye. You could start. So let's see here. All right, let me finish my thought, and then I'll go to the next comment. You could use RIT dye, R-I-T. That is like a good amateur dye to just start working with. It does bleed. But the cool thing about it is that if you go on their website, it will give you color formulas. So you can go look at like all the blues that they have there, and you can say, oh, that's the blue that I want, and you click on it and it'll tell you how to create that blue. Now, just as a little tidbit, when that does happen, if you have wool that pulls a little bit on the yellow side, or wool that's way white, or wool that, anyway, if it pulls at a certain color, even though it's an undyed, looks like a white wool, that may affect the color. I may not have it come out quite the way that it shows there, right? But it's close, and you can always, like, if you know the color wheel, you can always kind of fix that. So you could start with that, right? Dye, you can find it at your local craft stores, or you can order it on Amazon. But that one is, again, more for amateurs. You could also use jacquard, which also can be found on Amazon, acid dye, or Dharma acid dye. Those are other acid dyes that probably more of the professionals use. They don't have as much bleeding. They adhere better to the wool. But they're a little bit more complicated to figure out, and I don't think that they have color formulas that you can go, look at, and you're just going to have to figure it all out and experiment. Okay, so next one. Diana, I do have Icelandic. I processed wrong. Yeah, Icelandic is a good one to use, and it's, I feel like it's, some people say it's sheddy, but I don't, oh no, that one, it's not that sheddy. But anyway, it's not too bad, I don't think. And it's a nice wool, and it's soft, and it's pretty light, so that's kind of nice. I have not tried Cormo. I've seen it. Kind of at a point where I've like tried different wools than I normally do, and I end up like they end up not being used because I've like tested it out, and it's like really hard to felt, or you really have to soak it to get it wet, and I can't do it with my spray bottle, so my initial roll is like not effective. So anyway, there's certain wools that you can find that oh, okay, so Cormo is a merino cross. Okay, so it's going to behave similar to merino, I would guess. Does it come dyed? I don't think I've ever seen it come dyed. Or maybe if it is, it's just encompassed in the merino blend. Oh, it's a blend of merino and Corriedale. Interesting. Maybe. Okay, well, maybe it's worth trying. But what I was saying was sometimes it's not even worth trying anymore. I just stick to the ones that I know. And I still have a lot of pretty, I mean, I use, let's see, I use Icelandic, I use Blueface Leicester. Okay, I think that's BFL for short. I use Falkland, I use Masham, I use Wensleydale. I do sometimes use Teeswater, but mostly I prefer Wensleydale. They're very similar. Lincoln, I love Lincoln wool. So I have a variety that I use for different textures and purposes. Llama and alpaca or hypoallergenic wool. Those are fantastic. I do usually try to have at least a little stash of alpaca with me or at my house. Yeah, give it a try. It may need extra work to felt. If it's like merino, that's kind of how merino is. I just don't know because it's also got the Corriedale. Yeah, just you gotta try it out, but if you have a lot of it, you might as well use it for sure. Does it say 58 minutes? Have I been on here for an hour? Wow. Okay. I'm probably going to hop off here since I'm not getting any work done reading messages. And I've already shown you kind of what I'm working on as far as braids. Hopefully everyone got a good sense of a basic braid. Like I said, you don't have to do the middle. You could just separate all into tiny sections and then roll them all individually. That might be faster. I think sometimes that could be faster because then you're not worried about like pulling it apart and stuff the same way as when you have it all connected. But I do find that a braid sits better with that part unbraided rather than, trying to put a braid in. So, all right, thanks for tuning in. This will be available to rewatch in about 24 hours. And yeah, so thanks for tuning in. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe, and come see me on my Facebook page. Say hi, show me your sets that you've made, ask me any questions. I'm an open book of whatever I can give you. Let me see here. Oh yeah, Well, I haven't had to clean any wool like that, but I know Bree has. And yeah, it's a lot of work cleaning all that stuff. I don't want to do that. I just buy it from someone who cleans it. That's a lot easier. Okay, bye everybody. How do I click out of this?